Hi everybody, it's Jessica the Dollhouse Curator and welcome back to the Curated Dollhouse. So y'all, we are here because we are prepping for Thanksgiving, or as I am calling it this year, Dolls Giving. And me and the guys have been working on some really cute little holiday meal crafts. And one of the things that I usually do for the holidays or for just meal crafts in general is I like to create little individual size portions of some of the meals that I do so that I can take wonderful pictures and have like individual little plates set up. So this year we have extended our holiday meals and I've made some really cute individual size portions that I want to share with you all. So we're going to go through, I'm going to show you these, and if you are interested in how I crafted these cute little holiday dinner miniatures, stick around to the end of the video because I will also be including an entire crafting process video at the end. So y'all, I've got my guys here. Of course, we've got Leto, Joey, Quincy, and Craig, and they are all set up with their little individual plates for the holidays. So I am going to tilt this camera forward and show you how we have this little setup. And then Leto and I will be introducing you to our crafts that we have introduced for this year, because each year I add a little bit to our holiday meals. And I'm going to show you our cute little individual portions so that way you can see them and then decide if you are interested in crafting these for your dollhouse. So to start, there we go. Let me zoom in a little bit. If the camera will let me. Y'all know sometimes technology when I'm on these videos just does not like to work with me, as it is doing now, but that's okay. So here we have our little individual plates and portions. So over here with Joey, I have some dressing, cranberry sauce, candied yams, some ham slices, mac and cheese, and some green bean casserole. And then on Craig's plate, we have some of our red velvet cake, a double portion of mac and cheese, some ham, as well as some dressing and cranberry sauce as well. And Quincy is our dessert guy, so he is always going to be having something sweet, probably first before any meal, just like me. So y'all, the first thing I'm going to show you for this year is I decided to make more. Now the camera want to work with me and allow me to zoom in. Y'all see how I do me? Okay, there we go. So we get a better look at the meals. So the first thing I added to this year, actually this was the last thing I added to this year. This is the first thing I am showing y'all, is my cranberry sauce. So last year I made my cranberry sauce and I glued them all to the plate. And I kind of regretted that because I couldn't get to use little individual portions for my pictures. So this year I wanted to do individual portions. So I made some additional cranberry sauce, and as y'all see, I have that sitting on the plate on top of my individual portion dressing. And y'all, I wanted to do this because y'all know in the Curated Dollhouse, I love to be different, but I also love to be very individualized so that I can continue to reuse things and change it up all of the time. So that is why I decided this year to kind of extend my holiday meal with doing some individual portions. So now that I've shown you what it looks like on the plates with my guys, I am going to move over and we are going to go into Joey's kitchen. Leto is our foodie doll, but we will be in Joey's apartment for these videos that we're doing for the holidays because it is the fall season and Joey is our fall model. So we're going to move over here, y'all. I will be zooming in if the camera will work with me, unlike it did the last time. But I'm going to show y'all all of these cute little miniatures that I made this year. Hold on. There we go. So to start with, y'all, I made a few different things this year to add to my holiday foods. So the first thing I made was some candied yams right here. based off my mom's famous candied yam recipe that I am still to this day unable to make properly. I also did a green bean casserole complete with the little crispy onions on top because it just screams holiday, especially for pictures. I am reusing my amazing mac and cheese that I did last year. However, I don't have any more of the items that I used to make that mac and cheese last year. But I did wound up getting the Mini-verse mac and cheese surprise ball at some point this year. So I made individual portions using those. And then, y'all, these are my absolute two favorites. Let me zoom in. Again, that is my dressing and my ham. So, y'all, I am not a big turkey girl for the holidays. I really do appreciate a good glazed ham. And for this year, I really wanted to have a more traditional look based off what me and my family like for the holidays. So I wanted to do me a turkey. So I'm not a turkey, a ham. So a few days ago, I posted my hot glue holiday ham video. And I had posted some pictures on Instagram and my YouTube channel, and I got some amazing response for that. So that prompted me to go in and make some little individual sizes, as well as to make it as a craft video. So if you all were interested in doing this year, you could. So again, that will be at the end of the video, so y'all will have to stick around. For these, y'all, let me zoom in again. For these little individual portions, I think they turned out really good. They are super easy to make. And y'all know that for November, I did attempt to do a no spin November. The only thing that got me is, again, the Wicked doll. So if y'all have questions on that, I couldn't get my Wicked doll, so I wound up getting the Mini-verse Target series. I got 2 of those little balls and the display. So if y'all are interested in seeing what I got out of those, I will have that video linked up above. But I've only spent $11.70. And since I did the No Spin November challenge, I didn't want to spend a whole bunch on trying to make these crafts. So most of this is made with crafting supplies that I already had at the house, and they are super easy. The other thing I did, y'all, is I went ahead and made another one of my Mini-verse crafts. So this is what I'm calling the red velvet bundt cake. So after I got this made, y'all, I was like, oh, this is so cute. But I was really focusing on wanting to do the individual sizes and little portions so I could make the plates like y'all saw over on the table with my guys. So y'all, I wound up finding, and I had forgot that I had this, but I had a duplicate of that red velvet cake. So this year I made some individual little cake pieces as well. And that's what you saw on Craig with Craig and Quincy. So what I did is I used one of the tools that I steal and borrow from my husband. I'm going to let y'all see what it is because I don't know the name of it, but it's this thing. And I cut the cake into these little different sizes. And y'all, yes, I did different sizes because in my family, you got the people who get a slice of cake that ain't even worth cutting a slice because it's so thin. And you get the people who cut half the cake and call that one slice. So I cut these at different sizes, and then I went in and put the frosting over the top so that I could have an individual of some of the cakes as well. So I thought that was a cute little idea to do this year and a great way to use one of my duplicates and to make these, which I hadn't done since I had them because y'all know I am super stingy about making these sometimes. But anyway, I am at 10 minutes and I still want y'all to be able to get to the crafts. So I am going to zoom in again and let y'all see a little better look at these little individual sizes that I did so that we can put on the plates for Thanksgiving and for the holidays. And I really think this turned out absolutely adorable. Absolutely adorable. This is These are, I think, the best crafts that I have done this year, and I was so glad that I was able to do them with the idea of getting them on video to share with you all, and putting this out ahead of time so that if you have some time and you want to create these for your dollhouse, you can do that. All right, let's go back over here and visit our guys. Let me get my little Leto doll turned around. So there you go, y'all. I absolutely love how these turned out. I love that I can do these little individual plates so everybody can get their own little portions, and it can look so absolutely adorable and realistic in the dollhouse. And not only that, y'all, I can reuse these over and over for all my little different pictures and crafts throughout the year. So I'm going to hush right now, and then I am going to go ahead and let you all get to the crafts. For the crafts, we will be showing you how we did the candied yams, the green bean casserole, the mac and cheese, the dressing, and our cranberry sauce, which I initially forgot about, but I did remember to add in at the end. So thank y'all for visiting. Please stick around if y'all are interested in seeing how I made these adorable little crafts. And we will be back next week with a whole new concept and a whole new video. Bye, y'all. So for our first craft, we will be making the mac and cheese. And for this craft, you will need the mini verse mac and cheese surprise ball items, which are the noodles and the cheese spread resin. I did wind up using the entire bottle of resin for this one, and I will explain why in a minute. You will also need a piece of foil to make for easy cleanup to mix your resin and your noodles in, and a piece of foam that you can portion out the individual amounts onto. So y'all, I used the entire bottle of resin because I wanted this to be extremely cheesy looking, but also it gave me a lot of great stickiness in the noodles so that as I portion them out individually, they clump together really well instead of kind of spreading out loosely. And I thought that was a really good idea. For this project, I wound up being able to get 7 little individual portions of what looked like mac and cheese. And I thought this was a really great way to use the mini-verse items, which I actually hadn't used, but I also did it this way because I don't have any more of the materials that I used from last year when I made my pan of Dollhouse mac and cheese. So I thought this was a great way to utilize that project as well as to tie it to this project. Once my portions are dry, I went in and I cut each of them off of the foam individually, which was an effort of futility because the resin underneath did not dry, so they actually peeled off. So once I realized that, I peeled the rest of them off of the foam, turned them upside down, and let them bake back in the UV light for a little bit longer so that they were completely done. I do kind of wish that I could use the foam underneath, but I do think that this way turned out even better because I didn't have to worry about any of the random foam sticking out in any pictures that I was going to be doing for my holiday pictures, and it would just sit on the plate really nice and even. For our next project, we are doing the green bean casserole. I am using Mod Podge, copper paint, the same foil and bowl, light green, regular green construction paper, and a piece of white construction paper that I am painting with that copper paint on the front and the back. That will actually be our little crispy onions to go on top. And then for my construction paper and the actual green beans, I am going to cut these, but I start off with cutting the slits into my paper as you see me doing now. I have both of them put together, and once I have it cut all the way across, then I'm going to go through and cut them sideways, and I try to make them as close to what I consider to be green bean length as possible. But y'all, to tell the truth, this is paper and you can cut them at whatever size you want to. Once I get my green paper done, I am going to go in and I'm going to do the same thing for my my gold paper that is now dry, so that way it looks like we have those little crispy onions all mixed into our project. And I think this turned out really good in the end. So once I have all of my paper cut, then I'm going to put everything into my bowl that I did again add that foil on top of so that it makes for super easy cleanup. And we're going to add in some Mod Podge. I do have glossy Mod Podge. You can use matte if that's what you have. Or you can also use clear Elmer's glue, or you can use regular Elmer's glue. But once I get everything mixed in how I want to, then I'm going to take my green foam that I have off to the side, and I'm going to do the same thing that I did with the mac and cheese, which is portion it out into individual little servings, and we're going to give that time to dry. So for this one, y'all, I did try to make sure that I had enough of the copper mixed into the green for each little serving so that it gave just a little bit of extra color and dimension to the project. So once these are dry, y'all, I do the same thing I did with the mac and cheese and cut these out individually. These worked so much better since it was not resin that I had used, and they stuck to the foam the way they were supposed to. And I think these turned out really well. And surprisingly, the glossy Mod Podge did not stick out as glossy as I thought it was going to be. And I think it turned out really, really well. And for this one, I got 6 individual little serving portions that I can use in the dollhouse. For our next craft, we're going to be doing the candied yam. You will need Mod Podge. I am also using a copper acrylic paint and some orange foam. So the first thing I do is to cut me some yam shapes out of the orange foam. And once I have that done, I'm going to go in and I'm going to hot glue the shapes individually to the orange background. So y'all, I did 3 of the shapes a piece so that I could have a little dimension and height in my project, so that when I cut these out and put them on the plate, they don't just look flat and one-dimensional in my pictures and in the dollhouse. However, y'all, as I have said before, hot glue strings are the bane of my existence when I am crafting. So y'all will see me struggle not only with my nail extensions and trying to pick up these itty bitty orange foam pieces, but also, as you see, I am struggling with all of these hot glue strings. But once I get all of them glued down, and for this project, I did 6 individual little portions. Once I get them glued down, I'm going to mix my Mod Podge, just a couple of drops of the copper paint, and some water up so that way I can go over the top of all of these and give these individual pieces the same type of glaze that I got on the one in the pan. So as you can see now, I'm going over it with the paint. And y'all, I will admit that the first ones I did were a little too dark. So as you see, I'm kind of dabbing off some of the paint as I go over the rest of them. But it did give me a cute little idea after I realized I was getting a little too much paint on there for what I was looking for. And I did a little bit of painting around each of the areas so that when I cut them out, it actually looks like there is like the juice from the candied yam or the glaze kind of around and pooling. So that was a happy little accident that happened from me crafting and having too much paint on my brush to start with. The other thing I will say on this one is for these, I will probably wind up going over these with some more Mod Podge because they did not have the full shine that I wanted. So, but I went ahead and accepted it for now, and it wasn't until I took pictures of these later on that I realized I wanted a little bit more shine. So I will be adding a little bit more glossy Mod Podge to the top of these just to give them a little extra sheen and look that I want for my dollhouse pictures. For our next project, we are doing the dressing, and this is the easiest of them all. So I am using this kind of polystyrene styrofoam that I used for my bread craft a few months ago, and I am only making 3 individual portions of this one. So what I'm doing is using some orange acrylic paint, a leather brown acrylic paint, and some gold glitter paint. I thought the glitter was adorable, and it doesn't really stand out that much, y'all, but it gives it just a little sparkle when you get real up close. But I'm going in and I've cut these individually to make my 3 portions, and now I'm going over it with my paint so that I can fill in all of the sides so that I have little individual portions of this dressing that I think is absolutely adorable. I recommend for this one, y'all, you could use regular styrofoam, but that little puffy area, and I think it's called styrene, but I'm not actually sure, but that one is absolutely perfect. It has a great texture, as you can see in the big pan, and it really does look like dressing, and it also doesn't take very much paint to get it covered how you want to. So I thought this was a really nice idea this year to make a quick, easy, simple dressing for my dollhouse. And our final craft for today will be cranberry sauce. So for this one, y'all, you will need a glue stick, some cranberry looking nail polish. Mine is called Divine by Revlon. And I did realize after the fact that it was not the same exact color that I used last year for the craft, but it still turned out pretty good. So I used that little cutting tool. I don't know what it's called. I kind of stole it from my husband today, but I used that to cut me 6 little small slivers of glue stick, and now I'm going over to paint them on the top and the sides. So y'all, a word of caution, I do recommend that as you are painting the top and the sides of your glue sticks, definitely use the tape and tape them down so that they're not sliding all over the place. But once they are dry and you go to flip them over to paint the bottom, do not stick them to the tape. Y'all, of the 6 that I did, I only got 2 that came off of that tape successfully, and I had to repaint 4 of the other ones. Now, it was super easy to do, but it was a bonehead move, and I should have known better. So I am definitely telling y'all, do not stick them to the paint once you have them painted. Just use the foil or whatever you're using and lay them down on, and it will work out much better. But once I got these all painted, they turned out really adorable. And I actually like the 2-tone design in the cranberry sauce from the one that I did last year to the one that I did this year. I think it looks really good and gives just extra dimension to our dollhouse crafts. So y'all, the reason why I wanted to do this craft this way and make the little individual portions is because I don't know about your family, but everyone in my family doesn't eat the same things, and they definitely don't eat them the same way. So I love the idea of being able to make individual plates with all of these individual little items. And this gives me an opportunity to use all of these year after year and do them different ways every time. I think these are some super easy crafts that we have made today, and I hope you try this in your dollhouse for your holiday dishes.